The social epidemic of loneliness needs to be tackled by a combination of government intervention and every single one of us playing our part, according to the sister of murdered MP Jo Cox. Kim Leadbeater was speaking after a commission set up by Mrs Cox before her death recommended that the UK needs a governmental national strategy to combat a problem which affects millions of people. The final report of the Jo Cox Loneliness Commission found that 9 million adults in the UK are often or always lonely, and that loneliness is as harmful to health as obesity or smoking 15 cigarettes a day. We can't tackle loneliness alone. Read our report from 13 leading organizations on how we can work together to create a society less lonely. https://t.conubzupik.twitter.com 8SR4K7 Hikudo, Jo Cox Loneliness at Jo Cox Loneliness December 15, 2017, and it detailed how 3/4 of GPs say they see up to 5 patients every day who are lonely, and that loneliness is estimated to cost employers £2.5 billion every year. Ms. Leadbeater said, "Yes, government has got to play a part. That's where policies are made and that's where some of the money's going to come from. But the great thing about this issue is that we can all make a difference. We can all go out tomorrow and knock on somebody's door, catch up with a friend we've not seen for a while who might be having a tough time, and we can all make a little bit of difference." Great to listen to at Rachel Reeves MP at the Jo Cox Loneliness Commission. Jo would be amazed at the work that Rachel and Etsema Kennedy have done to take this forward. It's a great example of cross-party work on one of our country's biggest crises. We need more like this. pic.twitter.com/CDSipple, Brendan Cox at Brendan Cox December 11, 2017. Speaking following the report launch in Batley, West Yorkshire, Ms. Leadbeater said, "On a day-to-day basis it needs to come from us, every single one of us. I'm really embarrassed that I didn't know my neighbors until Jo got killed. And I know everybody on my street now. Because what they did, they had me up and looked after me when I needed it, and that just shows you the power of community." Ms. Leadbeater said her sister developed an interest in loneliness when she found herself feeling alone as a student at Cambridge University. She said, "We all have this outside persona that everything's great and we're having this fantastic time, but often it's not like that. Jo and I were really close when we were growing up, we did everything together as kids. When she went away to university, she entered this world of Cambridge, which was a very intimidating place for a working-class northern girl." Jo Cox, young or old, loneliness doesn't discriminate. We'll be attending the launch of it, Jo Cox Loneliness Manifesto, https://t.conquervme8ud in Batley later today with some of our at Leeds English at Leeds Gloco pen pals. Happy to chat. pic.twitter.com naf8gazikmik, writing back Leeds at writing_back December 15, 2017. But Ms. Leadbeater said her sister would have wanted the report to move from words to action. "Talking about things is fantastic, but let's get on with it," she said. The cross-party commission was established by Mrs. Cox when she was Labour MP for Batley and Spen. Its work, supported by 13 charities and businesses, was carried forward after she was murdered outside her constituency office in Birstall, West Yorkshire, in June 2016. The final report was presented in the constituency on Friday by Ms. Leadbeater along with the Joint Commission chairs, the Labour MP for Leeds West, Rachel Reeves, and Etsema Kennedy, the Conservative MP for South Ribble. If William Beveridge was alive today, he would identify loneliness as one of his great evils. Alongside the need for bread and health, he would add the need for attachment and connection. pic.twitter.com 9numkickafo, Rachel Reeves at Rachel Reeves MP December 12, 2017. Earlier this week, Ms. Reeves described loneliness as having escalated from personal misfortune into a social epidemic. The report calls for a government-wide strategy for loneliness across all ages with the lead minister appointed to drive action. A government spokeswoman said, "We welcome the work of the Jo Cox Commission and its ambition to combat loneliness. Tackling social isolation and loneliness is of huge importance to the government. A number of government initiatives already help to reduce loneliness, such as improved mental health support and funding to create new green spaces for communities, but we are committed to doing more and look forward to setting out plans in the new year." The Royal Voluntary Service (RVS), the charity Jo Cox's family chose to receive funding to continue her legacy after she was murdered, is launching 3 new projects in her former constituency to help reduce loneliness and isolation, particularly amongst older people. RVS Chief Executive Catherine Johnston said, "As Jo Cox said, loneliness doesn't discriminate, and over the course of the last year we have had our eyes open to just how many of us are affected. We welcome the Commission's manifesto and agree that whilst the government has a role to play, tackling loneliness is the responsibility of all of us."